guys, my name is Delta and this is Why'd Anime Games. We're doing an updated Tyranno Hassleberry deck profile now that we got a whole bunch of cards from him in Battles of Legend Light's Revenge. Now before I start, I will say there is one card from him that we got that we did not include in the deck yet, and that is Double Evolution Pill, which was called Ultra Evolution in the anime. Double Evolution Pill needs a non-dinosaur type monster to use it, and because we don't have what Tyranno Hassleberry used with it, Dyna Base, we didn't want to include it yet. He has no non-dinosaurs, so it wouldn't be playable, and we didn't want to include a card he didn't play just to use Double Evolution Pill. We feel like that's just not quite accurate to his deck, and we didn't want to do that. But you will see his other cards in Battles of Legend Light's Revenge in here. Now also, we're going to be coming out with a whole bunch of new content soon. We're going to talk about all that in a deck expo we'll be releasing later. That includes not only new decks, but also new content. And we look for that to come out. And if you guys really like this video, make sure you subscribe to us. Without further ado, we'll go to his actual deck. And that is starting off with 2 Sabersaurus. A 1900 attack beater, pretty standard fare for him. Not much to really say here. 2 Baby Ceratosaurus. You get effect off sometimes. It's not the greatest. You will notice that a lot of Hassleberry's cards are at 2 copies. Even with getting a few new cards for him, we're still missing a few, and we don't have enough to give him one of every card, like some characters like, Jaden or Yugi. 2 Black Stego. I personally love Stegosauruses. So you might know I love dinosaurs. This is 2000 defense. It's a really cool card. Kind of like Sword Armor Dragon, Rex's Stegosaurus type thing, but a little bit better and not weird stats. We won Black Tyranno. Now we did touch on this in Hassleberry's first deck profile. The card Hassleberry played was called Dark Tyranno, but it was same stats, almost identical to Black Tyranno. It's really one of those weird anime things. We know cards change names, and there was inconsistencies throughout the anime sometimes, especially from one series to another. So one Black Tyranno has to get the inclusion in here. 2 Dark Triceratops. So not as powerful as Black Tyranno, but you do have some pretty cool piercing damage. 1 tribute. Not that hard to get Dark Triceratops out. 1 Destroyosaurus. Not only is it a pretty good beater, 2100 under Jurassic World, but it also searches Jurassic World. So it's a definitely a good card. 2 Elementosaurus, like I mentioned, it has a couple of useful effects. You'll be noticing that Hassleberry's deck is chock full of pretty decent monsters. He's got a lot of good beaters. It can be a pretty good deck once it gets going. You have some good ways to get out tributes. He has a lot of powerful monsters. It's definitely a pretty strong deck. And then here we have 2 Giant Rex, one of the nice new cards we get. Pretty cool foiling they did for these Ultras out of Battles of Legend Light's Revenge. 2000 attack is pretty good. It cannot attack directly, though in the anime it said it can attack if your opponent doesn't have monsters. From all intents and purposes, most of the time they're exactly the same. And then it does have an added effect on the TCG card that we didn't have in the anime Giant Rex, and that is that if it's banished, you can special summon it. So that's a pretty powerful effect, but not one that'll come up that often. And now Giant Rex is also being included in all the other decks from characters that played it, so think, Rex and Noah. So don't worry about that. In fact, if you check the deck list document, we have not only Hassleberry's deck list typed up with all the updates, but you'll also see Giant Rex and Noah and Rex's deck lists in that deck list document. Then we have 2 Gillosaurus. This can also help you bring out your dinos. You don't always have something like Big Evolution Pill or Hunting Instinct to bring out a bigger dino. Sometimes you need to use traditional tributes. So you can have 1 monster on the field, maybe from last turn. This turn, you special summon Gillosaurus, use your normal summon on a bigger Tyranno. Those kinds of plays are what makes this deck pretty versatile, actually. 1 Hyper Hammerhead. It's definitely got a really good effect, actually. It can just be really good at, getting pesky monsters off the field. Especially under Jurassic World, it is 1800 attack. So it can be pretty frustrating for the opponent to try to get around it. They might need to use a tribute monster or a fusion or something just to get over it in battle. If it attacks something in defense position, doesn't destroy it, back of the hand. Hyper Hammerhead is definitely a good card for Hassleberry. So then we have Sauropod Brachion. 3000 defense, you can summon it by attributing 1 down type monster. It's pretty strong, and you can also change everything to face down defense position. It's kind of really strong to put opponent's monsters in defense position. So definitely a good card. Superconductor Tyranno. This is really cool to see Hassleberry play. He has quite a few big downs. There's Black Tyranno. There's his Ultimate Tyranno. We have 2 Tyranno Infinity. This can be pretty strong in his deck, actually. 1 Survival Instinct can make this quite the hard monster to get around. You can just steal games with this with 4,000, 5,000 attack. You know, and then his last monster is Ultimate Tyranno. So 3,000 attack, pretty good. Must attack all monsters your opponent controls. In the duel, Cyrus vs. Hassleberry, Cyrus actually used that to his advantage. To use a Roid combo of Ambulance Roid, Rescue Roid, Decoy Roid, he kept summoning monsters, and Hassleberry kept having to attack them, destroy them, and summon them back, and Cyber Summon Blaster. Cool things. We have 1 big evolution pill. Definitely a strong card. As long as you draw it with some tribute dinos, you're usually getting a pretty good value out of it. Even if you only get to combo with 1 tribute, you know, say you only use it, even though it's lasts for 3 turns, say you only use it for Black Tyranno. You know, you had a monster you normal summoned last turn. It becomes your turn. You activate big evolution pill, and now you tribute that dino, and you can just summon Ultimate Tyranno for free, or Black Tyranno, whatever. It's still like kind of replaces the second monster you'd have to use and speeds you up by a turn. So even if you only get a tribute 1, like say 2 tribute down with it, it's still really good. However, if you get to summon like Dark Triceratops 1 turn and then Black Tyranno the next turn, it's really nuts. And if you do 3 turns in a row of dropping dinos, it's a really strong card. 2 Earthquake. You know, again, just good at getting around stuff. Hassleberry's got some pretty versatile cards that can deal with opponent's monsters pretty well. 2 Jurassic World. You know, this actually had a couple different effects. The GX anime, it was throughout the series it was played with 2 different effects, kind of like Zane's Cyber Dark Dragon. The one effect was added a lot of other powerful effects like protection for his dinosaurs. It was really strong, but this is the version we're using. We don't have an errata on it. It's just the basic boost to dinos. Then we have 1 Pot of Greed, played by a decent amount of characters. Here's Spacetime Transcendence, which is the second new card. So this also has a slightly different effect in the anime, but it's very close. Functionally, it's still the same. It lets you banish dinos to summon a dino. This lets you summon it from the graveyard as well, now abbreviated GUI. But yeah, it's a pretty good card for his deck. It's just another card that lets you summon out dinos, so nothing bad about that. 2 Tail Swipe. So you need a level 5 or higher down to activate it, but it's good again with your opponent's monsters, sort of like Earthquake, sort of like Hyper Hammerhead. You do a lot of ways of dealing with monsters in Hassleberry's deck. Now sometimes Tail Swipe will be dead. His deck, you know, all the cards work with each other, like you need other cards to activate a lot of his cards. So you can brick sometimes in the deck, but for the most part, this card's easy to use, and for the most part, you'll see his deck comes together really well. So moving on from the spells, we have his traps. So first up is a Fossil Excavation. Just good to bring back a dino. It's another way to summon dinos easily. You can summon them from your hand. You can summon them from your graveyard. You just have to discard a card. Not bad at all. Then we have 2 Hunting Instinct. Another way to summon dinosaurs. Seems like that comes up a lot in the deck. I like the art on this card too. I like the art on a lot of his cards. But anyway, easy to summon dinos. Then we have Jurassic Impact, which is the last new card from Battles of Legend Light Revenge that we included in here. So this is almost the same as the anime. You do need 2 or more dinosaur-type monsters, but then if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you basically destroy all monsters on the field. You take 1,000 damage for each, then your opponent takes 1,000 damage. And then neither player can summon monsters until the end of the next turn after this card is activated. So it's a pretty powerful card. It's a board wipe. It's a dark hole with some damage, but it is a trap. It's harder to activate. It's definitely a good card, and it gets a 1-of inclusion. Seismic Shockwave. This card's actually pretty good. If you destroy a dino, you get a lockdown on your opponent's spell and trap card zones, which against some decks can be really good. Think like Crystal Beasts or any trap heavy deck, it really sets them back. And then you can get a dino back after 3 turns because it destroys itself. Pretty good card. 2 Survival Instinct. Combos with Tyranno Infinity. Otherwise, even on its own, it's pretty good at just giving you life points. Sometimes those life points will make the difference. And then we have 2 Volcanic Eruption. So this one's pretty hard to activate. This is a way you can trigger Baby Ceratosaurus though. So if you have a set Baby Ceratosaurus, you can only activate this in your end phase, but at least Baby Ceratosaurus puts a monster on your field. So when you wipe everything, you at least have something on your field. So this combo with Baby Ceratosaurus is pretty good. And that's it. Hassleberry doesn't have any fusions. We don't have any fusions for him at least. It's a 40-card deck, pretty simple. It definitely gets a little bit better, especially with, a couple Giant Rexes in there. But then, Jurassic Impact being a decent card as well. And Spacetime Transcendence. just a really cool deck. I love dinos. You know, a lot of people seem to really like Hassleberry. God, there's something so cool about playing dinosaurs. You know, these creatures existed 65 million years ago. But anyway, I'm not going to go on that much more. If you like this video, definitely give it a like. Check out our other GX content. Check out our Cyrus Hassleberry duel. And we're coming out with 5Ds decks in August. So that's really cool. And don't forget to check out our Facebook. And if you really like us, check out our Patreon. You get exclusive content through there. And you're able to support us. Anyway, guys, thank you. And Why Joe Anime Games out.